I couldn't imagine living on a train for 2 decades, and after seeing this movie, I definitely don't want to live on a train for 2 decades. Hey there, Internet Best Buddies, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Ray, and today we're going to be looking at Snowpiercer. That's right, you're getting a full week of Chris Evans reviews. In a version of Earth where the entire planet experiences an intense ice age that ravages the world, humanity's last survivors travel on a train that is constantly circling the world. Over the years, the ecosystem of the train has evolved to the upper class being toward the head of the train, and the poor located at the end of the train. After years of oppression and a few failed coups, Chris Evans' Curtis leads a new revolution to try and take over the front of the train and save his people. Not a sponsor. Let's get this out of here. So Chris Evans is fantastic as this reluctant leader for this revolution that has a really dark past. The rest of the cast, including Jamie Bell, John Hurt, and even Octavia Spencer, do a really good job as well. I really enjoy the concept of this train in perpetual motion to keep everyone alive that evolves into this sort of class system based where you are on the train. Again, rich up front, poor in the back. The design of the train, the societal structure, and the overall world that they've built for this movie is greatly implemented, and I really liked it. I really like how the film starts with them about to implement their revolution, instead of showing us like a journey to that point, and then the revolution. That could have been a little too formulaic for me. I just really like where it started, almost right into the action. The revolution itself with all the fighting was really well shot, and from a lot of cool angles that I kind of wasn't expecting. For the majority of the film, it's kind of shot over the shoulder of a lot of passengers, so I really just thought they built these sets and they were confined to them. And then there's a scene where it's like a tracking shot across like a battle. I thought that was pretty cool. So there's a character who's the door designer who can basically get the revolution from cart to cart because he designed the locks. And he has this daughter. For some reason she's clairvoyant. I don't understand necessarily why she's clairvoyant other than to tell them what's going on in the next train and then to do a big reveal at the end, which really probably couldn't have been revealed without her clairvoyant powers. It felt very out of place for the movie. Now, if they were to set up that there were clairvoyants in the world beforehand and they predicted this whole incident and kind of set it up like that, I guess it could have worked, but for the way they presented it, I just thought it was very weird and out of place, and it took me out at a few moments. There's some really dark revelations and moments in the movie that I really was not expecting. They work really well for the movie, and they add layers to the characters, but yeah, they just came out of nowhere. So I definitely think this movie would have benefited from being about a half hour shorter. As it stands, it runs about 2 hours. Itchy ear. As it stands, it runs about 2 hours, but this was long enough for me to kind of forget some of the main characters that are in the beginning of the movie that don't make it to the end, and also one of the central reasons why they're pushing so hard to get to the front of the train. So we see a bunch of carts throughout the film, and we definitely do not see all of them. So there's a garden cart, there is a meat locker of sorts, a prison, which is pretty cool. But then there's a youth education cart, which is really kind of off-putting and unsettling, which is probably the tone they were going for, because it seems all happy and sunshiny, and the kids are clearly being indoctrinated into this fake reality. Did you hear that sweet stutter there? I think they even dab at one point, which is weird. They do like these weird kind of chants and songs, and I guess that's kind of what younger kids these days do as well. Although I do think the whole sequence with the education cart of the young children is used to kind of juxtapose this really shocking moment that comes almost out of nowhere. And then for me personally, I wasn't really a fan of where the film concluded. I thought it was kind of predictable that they would sort of end up this way, and there's a moment with Chris Evans and Ed Harris where I think it would have gone in a better route, a much darker route, mind you, but I think it would have been better for me. But then again, that's just my preference. But then again, that's also what any review is. It's opinion and bias and preference, so take that with a grain of salt. You might like the ending, I just thought it was a little predictable. So Snowpiercer is definitely a really good movie, and definitely worth a watch. Just for me, there were some elements that sort of weighed it down, but I could also see those elements working for other viewers of the film. Snowpiercer gets an 8 out of 10. I was really excited to see this movie, and I did really, really like some elements. There were just some other things that I mentioned that just didn't really work for me. So my question for you guys this week is a pretty big one. Do you like trains? It's a pretty simple question, I guess. Admittedly, this is more just a joke question from my friend Dan, who's for some reason absolutely obsessed with trains, and this is more of a test to see if he actually watches my videos all the way through. So hopefully we'll see a comment from Dan down below. Also, if you want to see a video of Dan, I did one of him reacting to his first experience with virtual reality. So if you want, I'll leave a link to that in the description. Also in the description, I'll leave a link to Amazon if you want to pick up the Blu-ray of Snowpiercer. If you enjoyed the video, definitely give it a like and share it with your friends. Had to itch my eye. If you're new to the channel, definitely go down and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the videos that I put out. If you're a returning internet best buddy, thanks for coming back as always. It means a lot that you're watching the videos. Thank you again for watching, everybody. See ya.